Hurricane season began June the 1st, but as we all know from the floods of April and May, weather-related disasters can strike any time of the year in the city of Houston. There are several sayings we use to remind Houstonians about what they should do in the event of a weather-related disaster, and you've heard these sayings many times. Make a plan, build your kit, stay informed, and get to know your neighbors. Run from the water, hide from the wind. That's especially attributable to the hurricane season. Turn around, don't drown. Despite these warnings and advice, we are still seeing people die. There were 6 deaths attributable to the tax day floods on April the 18th in Houston, and all were people in vehicles caught in high water. People aren't dying when they stay home and off the roads. They are dying because they are driving in bad weather. They drown because they don't turn around. They drown because they don't run from the water. They drown because they don't make a plan. Here is information you will need to keep in mind when making your plan. Just 6 inches of moving water can knock you down, and 2 feet of water can sweep your vehicle totally away. The city puts out barricades at spots known to accumulate high water. Do not go past or drive around these barricades. They are there for a particular reason. And if you find yourself submerged in water, do not use your cell phone. Time is critical. You have approximately 30 seconds to 1 minute to get out of your vehicle before it submerges. And keep an emergency escape tool easily accessible and within reach at all times. The city will be distributing some of these for free, but we do not have enough to equip everyone. I am committed to addressing Houston's drainage issues, and let me just say not only myself, but all 16 members of City Council as well, and many are here today. And I've appointed a flood czar to help guide that process, Steve Costello. I want us to move quickly towards solutions, but I can't make it happen tomorrow, and I can't promise that there won't be another flood anytime soon. The best approach is to always stay home, but if you find yourself in a car in rising water, we want you to know what to do to save yourself. Don't become our next flood-related fatality. Make your plans now. And now, with more about what the city is doing to inform Houstonians about flooding, let me call up Acting Police Chief Martha Montalvo. But before she comes, I certainly want to acknowledge Councilwoman Brenda Stardig from District A, Councilmember Dave Martin from District E. I believe those are the only 2 council members that are here, and certainly all of the others who are standing here as well. Police Chief Martha Montalvo.
As the mayor stated, unfortunately, Houston does experience major flooding events. And while obviously we cannot prevent those weather-related events, what we can do is help our community educate themselves so that they can be as prepared as possible on what to do if they find themselves in a flooded street environment or in their cars in a flooded street environment. Obviously, the most important ones are turn around, don't drown. And if you see a barricade, do not go around it. Those barricades are there for a reason. They're there to keep you safe. They're there to alert you that past the barricade there is a dangerous situation. So obviously our goal is to educate on safety precautions, what emergency notifications mean, and future plans to address flooding issues. So we are going to be conducting workshops and presentations throughout the city in community centers as well as churches. These educational seminars will go through the month of July, and we will also be having some giveaways, such as these escape hammers that I have up here, and that will be demonstrated to you in a little bit. We will also be giving away other safety devices. These giveaways were possible because of the donation of Yellow Cab of Houston, and I believe we have a representative here today, and also because of the Houston Police Federal Credit Union. So my sincerest thanks to our partners. And I would also like to thank the Houston Fire Department, the Office of Emergency Management, and the Harris County Flood Control District for their participation and their assistance in making these workshops and these seminars and these videos possible for our city. So at this time, I would like to introduce Sergeant Michelle Sandoval, who is going to demonstrate the escape tool. That's it.
Okay, do it again.
Are there any quick questions before? If not,
Then
all right,
keep it.
that's it.
Are there any questions? No?
I have a question. I just want to ask you, because a couple days ago I got caught in a really bad downpour, actually. I was on Chimney Rock Road and I just got off the highway. And I think a lot of times people find themselves getting caught in the rain. And I guess my question for you is, if there isn't a barricade set up and you do see a perimeter of water, and you see some water that's, pretty exactly how high, how to gauge it, how do we get the warnings, I guess, out to people in a timely matter? We have the National Weather Service sending out these warnings, but I didn't get the warning until I was already immersed in the floodwater. So I'm wondering, how much do you all work with the National Weather Service to get those warnings out in a timely manner?
Well, we work with them very closely. I know Rick Flanagan is here. Rick, you want to take that question because you can let them know? I mean, we're in constant communication with them, certainly at the HEC Center, but Rick Flanagan from the HEC Center.
No, we use the models and we also partner with the National Weather Service on a daily basis. The unique aspect is on the larger thoroughfares, we do have the posting on the marquees about high water on the larger thoroughfares. When you get into the smaller communities, you're going to have to use that extra sixth sense. Look ahead of where you're going. Try to be familiar, if you can, with the interior or the general area where are you driving or making access. That's the best thing that you can possibly do. But if you anticipate, and if you can see from the standpoint of the curves, if the water's over the curves itself, it's probably not a good idea to continue in that direction.
And I just want to emphasize, if there's any question, if you're running and driving and you're approaching some water, some standing water, and if you have any doubt, the best advice I can give you is to stop and turn around. Just do not proceed. You just don't want to risk it, and especially at nighttime. If it's nighttime, please, if there is any doubt at all, then what I would recommend to you is to stop and turn around. But do not proceed, especially at nighttime. I will tell you, when I was much younger, and I'm young still, but when I was much younger, and it was during hurricane season. The hurricane had just passed, and I thought it was clear. And so I got in my vehicle, and I called myself going to the store. And I saw the grocery store, and it seemed like it was just a parking lot with some water. And I went straight to the grocery store. I did not realize that there was a ditch, and it was covered with water. And the next thing I knew, the front of my car was in the ditch, and the water started to rise. And I didn't have one of these things. But I learned my lesson, okay? Because I just thought it was just a parking lot. So if there's any question, do not drive in standing water. And I'd rather be safe than sorry. So, turn around, don't drive. In hurricane season, water can be anywhere. Just stop and be very cautious, okay? Any other questions? Now, Chief, who's getting these instruments?
When we give these presentations, they actually have to sit through the presentation, and they will get these as long as we have them available. We have quite a few, and because of the donation of our partners.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, what about, I think the toll road is putting up some automatic barricades that are going to come down. And I believe the city has 2 or 3 locations where those are. Are you going to try to investigate more of the automatic kind of barricades that go down in high water response?
I think we're looking at that. I know this has been an issue that County Judge Emmett has approached with a great deal of passion. We're certainly joining with him. I know he's been in conversation with TxDOT to join forces as well, because some of these underpasses are controlled by TxDOT, Texas Department of Transportation, so we're working in collaboration with them. So certainly the toll roads, Public Works is identifying additional areas in the city. where there may be underpasses, things that have not already been on our radar screen. So we're doing everything we can to put up the necessary barricades. When we think that there's a potential threat of heavy rain, we try to position ahead of time and to try to block an entrance. But what we've noticed is sometimes even when there's a barricade, when there's a, the gate, when it's down, sometimes people can be insistent and can go around. And so we try to position even people there to keep people from going around. So we try to do that as much as we can. So we will do everything we can to try to keep people safe, but it's at the same time, there's no better substitute than for people also exercising some good judgment, okay? And good judgment, especially when there's heavy rain or when you're in a hurricane, the good judgment is be very, very careful when you're going underneath an underpass. If there's a barricade there, heat the barricade, don't try to go around it. But at the same time, if you think it's a danger, if there's anything in your mind that says, I don't think I should be doing it, follow your first mind. Generally speaking, you're probably doing the right thing, okay? Better to be safe than sorry, okay? And stay around to live for another day.
Mayor, speaking of those gates, you brought up the automatic ones.
Right, the gates.
Public Works. I know that Public Works has over a dozen, up to 20, 25 locations or so.
I think they're about 27 if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah, somewhere around there. And the last time I talked to them, I think it was a couple months ago, they said that the decision had been made to not input the automatic arms. Is this something that's changed since then? Are you?
I think the determination, we were trying to make the assessment which would be more preventive in keeping people from going, for example, under the underpass. And what we discern in some cases, even when the gate goes down, people kind of go around if you don't just block it. I mean, sometimes people are somewhat insistent, or would it be better to post someone there, a vehicle of some kind, to keep people from going there, or just to block it off entirely, not just the gate, but just to block it off. So I think we just trying to make a more complete assessment of what would be the best to keep people to save, keep people from going underneath that underpass. So it's not that we were just going to ignore that particular location, just trying to make a determination of what's the best approach. What should we put there? Either a live person in a vehicle, or just block it off completely, or what? Those are the questions that I think that we've been dealing with. But we will make sure that all of those particular locations are protected if we suspect a heavy rainfall. And I think we're identifying some other locations in the city as well.
Mayor, do you know where the workshops will be to get the tools?
Let me call on Chief Montalvo.
The first workshop's going to be here, and then we're going to be going to various communities, centers, and churches, and we'll be posting them on Facebook as well as the areas that we go.
And is there a particular group that's being identified, like seniors, and who would take priority? Is there a priority group?
We're inviting anybody, but obviously senior citizens, we always have huge participation from that group.
How soon is it starting?
It's going to start now through the end of July.
The first one's going to be when?
June 23rd, here.
Can you hold it up, Mayor?
It's very light. I mean, you would think it would be much heavier, but the impact is
very good.
very good, as you will saw. It doesn't take very long either.
And time is of essence, so use it and get out of the car as quickly as you can.
And we certainly want them used for the right purpose.
Yes, thank you.
Let me emphasize that. This is not a multi-purpose device. I mean, I started not to say it, but let me just go and put it out there. This is not a multi-purpose device. This is for if you're getting trapped in water and you need to get out of your vehicle. Not to get in a vehicle, but to get out of a vehicle. So I know I didn't have to say that because this is Houston. And now some other city may have had to say it. In this city, it is a singular purpose device. Now, Chief West, did you want to have anything to add to this? I mean, go for it.
About the hammers.
Singular use. I just want to say, Houston, what makes us great are the people that are in our city. And we are much better together. as these classes and seminars are going to be taught, tell your neighbors, tell your friends, so they can come out and be educated on turn around, don't drown, and some other safety measures. And that's all I want to leave you with. We're much better together and spread the word about the place. Thank you.
And let me give also closing words also from, let me call on Councilmember Stardig, because I know there's flooding all over the city, but certainly in District 8 there's been flooding as well as in District 8. So Councilman Stardig.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's very important that citizens take care of themselves first, but also recognize the fact that they're jeopardizing the lives of first responders by being reckless and making sure that they don't take chances with their lives or anyone else's lives. So I think that's very important. It's not only about you, it's about everyone else involved. So please make sure that you stay safe and turn around, don't drown. Thank you.
And also let me call on Councilmember Martin. Now, he is holds the distinction of having his area flood, many areas in his district flood on April the 18th. And then he is the only district council member who had his area flood in the last 2 weeks as well. So his area, some areas within the Kingwood area have been hit twice in the last couple of months. And then if you go back to Memorial Day, hit at that point in time. So Councilmember Martin.
Thank you, Mayor. And it also, as we're in hurricane season now, the first area to get hit in the city of Houston is the south end, which is Clear Lake, which is also part of my responsibility. So as we move forward with hurricane season, I want to remind all the folks down in the south end of Harris County and also in the Clear Lake area that these implications that we talk about with flooding and things of that nature during the hurricane season is paramount that we listen and we do turn around and don't drown and protect your neighbors and look out for each other. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Have I left anything else that I have not mentioned? Anything else?
Hey, Adrian, I have one more question. You said that you've appointed a flood czar. Are they here today? And what exactly can you define what their role is going to be?
Okay, that is Steve Costello, and Steve Costello is not here. His family, he's out attending a funeral in his family member, so he's not here today. But he's charged with the responsibility of coming up with short-term as well as long-term plans to mitigate the risk of flooding. I'm working very closely, for example, with all of the inter and intra-agencies from the City of Houston, like Public Works, to the Harris County Flood Control District, to the U.S. Corps of Engineers, to the Texas Department of Transportation, Harris County in general, to come up with a coordinated approach and strategies to reduce the risk of flooding. He's looking at a number of the projects that are ready to go right now and trying to find various financial sources in order to get those projects underway. But his charge is to come up in real time with real strategies in order to mitigate the risk of flooding. He's the singular person appointed by me. He's the point person on flooding issues, drainage and flooding issues. He's the singular point person, reports directly to me. Okay?